This is the SemiWoke podcast.
This is the SemiWoke podcast. This is a podcast where Sharia it's a grooming podcast where Sharia grooms me in front of a straight male, brainwashing me with one woke concept a week in an effort to turn me gay.
Nope. No.
What do you mean?
It's not enough for you to become gay.
It's never enough for you, Mom.
No, it will never be enough. That's nothing. Everyone's gay. Have you seen the line at Ginger's for a fucking beer? Okay, everyone's fucking gay now.
It's true.
No, that's not enough. You have to become the residual water in the pot after someone boils their dildos.
Wow. Wow.
You have to become the dildo soup water.
We call that moonlight moonshine. Okay.
Wait.
Drink it up.
Yes.
Drink it up, baby.
That's a great name.
I could see that, probably gay male porn stars or something could sell that online.
And so could lesbian porn stars.
Okay, fine. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Who's boiling dicks more often? Let's just be real. Who's the cleaner?
Who's boiling dicks more? I don't know.
Who's boiling dicks
Saddam
more often?
Hussein.
I think it's the dykes.
Oh,
I think it's the dykes for
Dykes,
sure.
yeah.
But you know what? I think everybody should boil your dicks, by the way. Boil
Do people use dishwashers for that kind of thing?
They do sometimes, but
I would imagine that's all dishwasher safe.
It's
safe for everything but the dishes. You're going to have a bunch of schmegma on the dishes.
I don't know. I would never put mine in my dishwasher.
Yeah.
No, I think even if you put it in through the dishwasher, you should boil it first just to get rid of
I imagine you with your toys, it's kind of like a very rustic affair where you lovingly hand wash them and then you hang them up on a clothesline out to dry.
That's very much it. It's literally, that's the problem with my toys. Like by the time I finish cleaning them, I'm like, I'm not even horny anymore. Yeah. I've just done manual labor.
I know, exactly.
Especially the clit sucking ones, because you got to get into
I don't know, but I can imagine.
Oh, you've never seen those?
No, I haven't.
You should. They're fine. Me and Marty, whatever. They're famous. You know them. Me and Marty have arguments about the usefulness of the clit sucking vibes very often.
You're a pro.
I'm very pro clit sucking vibe. Extremely pro. Me and Marty and me and Kat too. I bought Kat a clit sucking vibe, and she was like. She called me and was like,
was this like a Christmas thing? These are stocking stuffers
honestly,
for all your queer friends?
It was either Christmas or her birthday. She was like, I had to take it back. It was too powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that because, the clit can be a delicate thing. I mean, look, you have to acknowledge other people have their own subjective experiences around their clits. Like
being sucked into a jet engine, which...
I'm on
Lexapro, so it takes me a lot.
You need like a Boeing... And you know what I mean? Powered clit sucker.
Yes. You know what I haven't tried though? The Rose. And I'm finally going to try it. I'm going to get the Rose. There's a Rose with 2 compartments. There's one with the clit sucker part and there's one with the dildo part. And it's small, but it does this. So
did you ever think, and don't get mad at me for asking you this.
What?
That maybe your expertise and being a connoisseur of toys is actually the thing that's preventing you from going and getting the real thing these days? Just curious, and I'm not saying that you understand. I say that out of genuine curiosity.
No. That's a very good question. I think maybe, but I think it's more my like trauma.
Right. That could also be it.
From going out and
well, this is what the NoFap movement for men is actually really about. And I think it is very much trauma based as well, by the way. And that like people who excessively masturbate, even as men, are also dealing with some kind of anxiety and trauma.
Did you say I excessively masturbate?
Well, based on you, listen, you're like the fucking...
I do not excessively... I used to excessively masturbate.
Your house is like a sex Toys R Us.
I just have a lot of sex toys.
Yes. Another way of saying what I just said.
No, that's different.
Okay.
That's different. I just have them for when I need them, which is actually not that often anymore. Well...
Straight reference alert. In the beginning of the movie Commando, when Arnold has to go after his daughter and he breaks into the warehouse full of guns and there's just like walls and walls of different firearms. That's what I imagine your sex toy closet is like.
I wish you could have that kind of money. You know how expensive those things are? No, it's just one drawer.
Okay.
It's just one drawer. And they tend to have lots of compartments.
In a gigantic Wayfair.
Like, literally, yes. Yes, in a giant
bureau.
Yes, it literally is. Yes. This is the first gay straight collaboration.
Oh, since what?
Since Wham.
Ooh.
I know. I just watched that documentary recently. George Michael. I did not
Was
know
the
that-
other guy straight?
Yeah, exactly. I had no
Whoa.
idea. Not only was he straight, but he was
Wham? More like whoa.
exactly.
Okay.
He was a great ally, and he was a good friend to George Michael, and he was able to he was a good.
Well, they came
You're
out
my
in a
Andrew.
very thank you. I love that. Thank you
Obviously,
so
I'm the
much.
George Michael.
That makes me feel so good because I got all the money and you got all the AIDS.
Exactly.
Okay. Come back to the mic. Come on.
We need to cut that out.
Never.
That needs to be cut out.
Never.
No, that's
I'm
not
doing
an
my job
appropriate
here.
joke.
It's
No,
the inappropriate
no,
straight male.
No.
But that is so. You know what? That's you love the joke. You were dying of laughter right now.
That wasn't funny.
Which is a sign that it has been sanctioned. But I think, you know what's so interesting about that, the Wham thing, is that was a time in many ways where
Yes.
there was a lot more queer kind of gender bending, as they used to
Yes.
call it, than acceptance,
Yes.
right? David Bowie, Prince,
Yes.
Wham.
Even the straight dudes she's my cherry pie. All those
Warrants,
dudes.
yeah. Oh, glam rockers, yeah.
Are they glam rockers?
Those are,
I
that's
think of
glam rock.
No, New York Dolls are glam rock. These people are 80s hair bands. That's
80s
what
hair
they are.
bands, yeah.
That's what
There's a lot of crossover. You're right, though. Glam is like Roxy music, and which
Mhm.
is really amazing. Incredible music.
Yes.
Yeah, an amazing time, actually.
Yeah, talk about gender benders coming for your children. Those were the ones that
Truly.
were coming for your children. I just learned that one of the New York Dolls literally kidnapped a 13-year-old girl and kept her as his. Every single rock.
Well, it was the 80s.
It was literally though, every single rock star from the 70s and 80s kidnapped a child at one point or
yeah,
another.
yeah.
It was the times.
It was the times.
Anyway, we should let's take a little let's take a break. We're gonna talk about the Barbie.
We're talking about the
movie
Barbie movie
that we went
and
and-
boy, do we have some hot takes.
We have some hot takes and some surprising takes
And-
too.
Yeah, indeed.
Some surprising things came out of our trip to the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
But first let's go pay some bills so we can pay for that fucking Barbie ticket.
Sounds good.
All right, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to SemiWoke.
Welcome back to SemiWoke. We just paid some bills. I hope you guys are going to go take us up on the offer we just made you there.
That's right. Yes.
So Cherie and I went to go see the Barbie movie.
We
This is
did.
at her instigation. I was not going to see it. I had no plans.
I was
of
like,
seeing
hey
it.
girl, you want to see Barbie? And you were like, yes, let's go right now. I'm going to buy the tickets.
I was not gonna go see Barbie at all, just because for whatever reason I was like, this ain't for me, right?
Mhm.
And of course, there's a ton of hype around this movie.
Yes.
A ton, and you're hearing about this person has a hot take. This person has a hot take.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hot takes, but also a lot of people it's given so much praise.
Yeah.
And I'm a Barbie girl. I grew up on Barbie. Barbie is a very, what are you doing?
don't worry about it. There's something in my
Okay,
water.
I don't know. Okay, I love Barbie. That's I grew up on playing with Barbies. I recognized all the Barbie stuff.
I know.
My
I know.
cousin had Barbies from the early 90s and the late 80s. She had all the great Barbies.
You're a Barbie girl living in a Barbie world.
No, I'm a Barbie girl living under capitalism.
Exactly.
And so
Yes.
that's what, and I'm also if you were a child in the early 90s, that was what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the thing that you had. That was toys. Toys were the things that you had, and Barbie was the ultimate toy.
That's true. We were living in a non-digital era. back
Yeah,
then.
but you actually didn't grow up playing with Barbies at all.
No, I was a stray kid. I played with GI Joes.
Yeah, but I remember straight our boy cousins playing with us with Barbies and stuff like that.
Are they still straight?
I think so, but then they're Caribbean, so maybe not.
Yeah.
They're just closeted.
I never played with Barbies. I mean, there was no. What was my exposure going to be to Barbies? Right? It's I didn't have sisters. I didn't have any female
You had
cousins
Kenna.
around me.
You had a
Yeah,
little
it's
cousin.
my niece who's
Or a little niece.
16 years younger than me.
Okay.
Do you know how weird that would be if
You never played Barbies
mid
with your
20s
younger?
I would play other things with her. I don't think she was ever really into Barbie like that. She
Really?
loved the Little Mermaid, Mulan, that kind of stuff.
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah, I mean,
Never.
she had a whole Powerpuff Girls, that kind of
I
thing.
love
you know.
Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. But so you don't have that much of an emotional connection to Barbie, and I have
No.
a deep, very a serious emotional connection to Barbie.
Yes.
But when we watched the movie, you loved it.
I didn't,
and I
love
thought it was okay.
Listen.
Lying bitch.
Okay,
You were
hold
like,
on.
girl,
Listen.
I'm buying that shit as soon as it comes out. on
That is
DVD.
not true.
Oh my God. Like, girl, I will see it again.
It's not true. You know,
I loved Barbie, bitch.
Well, you know what it was? There's two things. One, I was high. But then two, I came in with the absolute lowest expectations.
That's true, yeah.
Where I was like, this is going to be shit and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I came out being like, actually, that was not bad.
Yeah.
You know? So.
You were like, that was amazing, girl. Bitch, let's get a Barbie dream house. Let's get a Corvette. Like, we're going back. You were like, let's go get all pink clothes and go to like a real premiere and do the pictures in the box.
Right. I was expecting it to be something that's just like beyond the pale. As the supposed non-woke person in the SemiWoke podcast, I was like, oh, this is going to be a bunch of like, you know, Paul drivel, and it's not going to have any merit to it. It's just going to be pure propaganda. And I went in, and it was just like, no.
It was really funny.
It was actually just like kind of cute.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a good movie.
But it was funny.
But it had some really funny, there was some really good jokes in there.
It was a really funny movie.
It was like a very solid PG-13 movie.
Yes, it was. I was like, this is the girls' Wayne's World. This is our generation.
Actually, that's a great comparison.
Wayne's World, right? Like Wayne's World, nobody left Wayne's World being like, I feel so moved and touched. You went out and were like, that was a really, really funny movie.
Yeah.
Now, I've gotten a lot of shit so far for saying this to other people about like how I just don't think it was that emotionally.
Right. You came out with harsher critiques than I did.
I really did.
That was
like,
the interesting thing.
Barbie.
Yeah.
I don't know that Barbie. Like,
I know.
and
You
I
came
was
in being like, you texted me while you were on your way. You're like, do they have the pink Barbie popcorn box? Do they have the limited time Barbie popcorn box? We went to go see this at BAM, by the way, Brooklyn Academy of Music. Poor girl. Didn't realize.
Yeah, they didn't have any of the Barbie merchandise at all. They didn't have anything. I was actually really upset about that. I still kind of am. I was willing to pay like $50 for
it was hilarious.
Barbie doll box.
Yeah.
Full of popcorn.
I thought that was very funny. To me, that was the funniest start to the movie. It was you needing that popcorn box. And I didn't even need to look. I knew that they wouldn't have it, but I did go in because I love you.
Okay, because I was like, I
did walk inside.
I know this bitch is not looking for the fun. I know
because I love you, and I went in and looked. and I felt like a bad stepfather because I was like, I brought my girl out to BAM. This is not the experience. I should have taken her to an AMC. They don't have the premium Barbie popcorn box. She's gonna be so sad and disappointed. I felt like a bad stepdad.
Yeah,
you know.
You were high too, so you were like,
I was high.
I'm sorry.
I did. I felt so bad. I couldn't even be my normal curmudgeonly self. I was just kind of giggly and apologetic.
You even asked the lady again. You were like, "Are you sure you don't have it? She really wants it. She can make a wish, kid. She really needs that."
That was my vibe at the counter.
I know. No, it's okay. I'll go see it again. Maybe I just like wasn't. But like it just like it felt like. So this is the thing. I went in there with the expectation that that the central theme of the film would be us as girls, our relationship with Barbie, right? Because when you're growing up, Barbie is like a central part of your identity, a part of your girlhood. Collecting Barbies is very important to you, dressing her up. That's how this is your first like example of womanhood besides the women in your life, right?
You know what's interesting about what you just said? It's so astounding to me based on all the data you just dropped on me about how one treats Barbies that there are not more female serial killers. Okay.
No, we take it out on our Barbies.
Them and I dress them. I know. I think you're right. Anyway, continue.
That's so funny that you dress them and you make them pretty, but some of them you also fuck up.
Yeah.
You take their heads off and put them on another one, right? You take Barbie's head and you try to put it on Ken and vice versa, right? It's your first example of like creating a world for yourself. Like for me, like Barbie was integral to my growing up and wanting the yearning for the Barbie that were so expensive that your mom wouldn't get you, and that your friends had, and my cousin had every single Barbie she ever wanted. As soon as it came out, my aunt Janelle got it for her. And so I would go and play with her Barbies, and I was always so jealous. You know what I mean? Like it was like your first like social status symbol as a child. And then it sort of warps because as you start to grow up, you realize you're growing up and you don't look like Barbie and that Barbie doesn't look like you. Like, yes, I had chocolate Barbies, but they all had straight hair. You know what I mean? I'm too old for the era of the Barbies.
The natural hair
froze.
Barbies.
Yeah,
and
those
all,
are
right.
so, but like, I'm so glad they exist. But like, it was too late for me, right? They all had straight hair. They just had white Barbie features. And then like they didn't have now they have like little wide nose and little lips and whatever. They kind of look kind of black. Yeah. But before it was just a regular white Barbie dipped in chocolate. And they'd hand it to you. And, you know, and then when you started to grow up and you started to not see your body turn into that, and you notice that the women around you don't look like Barbie, and you notice that like, you know, the constant, like, because also a lot of Barbie's central thing, we can talk all we want about how Barbie was an astronaut and a president and all that, and she certainly was.
She could be anything but black.
She could be black. She could be anything but Asian. But really what it is like accessories. It's not really about like Barbie can be anything that you want. It's like, you need to buy these toys to keep up so that Barbie can be the things that we tell her that she can be. Yeah. It starts to feel like that. You know what I mean? So like, it's all about
so you're not actualized enough unless you have all the Barbies.
Yes.
What an amazing
and all the Barbie accessories.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the main thing about Barbies, that you needed to constantly buy new clothes for
if
your
you don't
Barbie.
have President Barbie, you are not going to be president.
Exactly.
You don't have that potential within
Exactly.
you.
It was a good strategy.
Fascinating.
And then it became
that's such an intense pressure on girls specifically, because as a kid, I grew up with G.I. Joes and I loved G.I. Joes, but there was never any possibility of any of that because it was so far outside the realm of possibility. I could never be Snake Eyes. You know what I mean? The ninja looking, guy who was, he's all slick and he carries a sword around. It was all way too out in the realm of fantastical behavior, right? Which is a liberty, I think, and a luxury afforded to men.
Was about war.
It is, but it's all very fantastical, right? These are all super warriors.
That's right.
Who have special abilities.
Cobra.
And stuff. Yeah. And so that's a luxury, actually. Now that I think about it, that's afforded to boys and to men, in that you didn't rely on, you looked at them as masculine role models and ways of inhabiting the world, and war and aggression is a part of who you are, right? But Barbie itself is so basic. Yeah, it's just a blonde woman who started off as just a blonde woman who really didn't have to do anything but drive around in a red Corvette.
She didn't get it's a pink Corvette, and she doesn't get it until much later. She just started off as a fashion model.
So it started off as like pre 2020 Saudi Arabia Barbie model, right, where she couldn't drive even. That was like Sharia Barbie, really, soft Sharia.
So wait, we do have to acknowledge the soft feminist undertones of Barbie itself and the Barbie movie, right? So the thing with Barbie that they address in the film is, spoiler alert if you've seen it, the thing with Barbie that they address is that before Barbie, all the dolls were baby dolls. And the whole point was to teach little girls to be nurturing caretakers and mothers, right? And then Barbie came along and she was able to have a house. Right, Barbie Dream House came before Barbie's Corvette, right?
Oh, interesting.
Yes, she was a model. She had her own shit. There was no Ken for a while, right? She was an independent woman who had her own house, which was literally like illegal at the time, right? Women weren't able to rent their own houses without a male cosigner until like 1975. So like Barbie came out in the early 50s and she had her own house by herself, and she was like a beautiful girl and she bought her own things. And that in and of itself was sort of like a soft launch feminism. Now she was based on a sex toy doll named Lily, but
that's insane,
because it's a male designer ultimately, but
so the movie posited it as it was a woman who had started it named Ruth.
Well, she came up with the idea for Barbie, and she like her initial designs were the ones that were used as a jumping off
and then there
point.
Was a guy who was like, there was a guy bigger tits, bigger,
literally, yes, there was a guy who was like, she needs bigger, pointier tits and a smaller waist. Amazing. That was literally it, and a big forehead for some reason. The original Barbie got a big ass like Rihanna forehead. God bless. Anyway, but like, so like there are some soft feminist underpinnings. Yes, Barbie was an astronaut before any other American woman was an astronaut, but a year before the Russians sent a woman into space. So
shouts to the Russians.
I know. And like many different things. Like she was a She was kind of iconic. And this is another thing, like, yes, she's basic and all you have to do is put toys on her, but a lot of that was like encouraged a lot of our creativity.
Yeah.
Because like when you really play Barbies, which is something that they didn't really address, they made it seem like you're just like, hi Barbie, and that's cute. But you've ever seen, like, you watch a bunch of 8-year-old girls play Barbie, that shit turns into Jerry Springer real fucking quick.
Yeah.
They're fighting, they're killing, they're selling drugs. At least that's what we were doing with our Barbies. You know what I mean? They had weird Barbies.
Trap House Barbie.
We had we got crackhead Susie's who we would fuck up. You know, we draw on her face. She was the crackhead of the neighborhood, of the Barbie neighborhood, right? Like we were working through our own internal issues and things that we saw in the world that we didn't really make sense. That didn't really make sense to us. We tried to make it make sense in the world of our Barbies. So these things were like very, like, these were integral to us. That's how I started actually being able to understand Shakespeare, is doing it with Barbies. My mom really wanted me to read Shakespeare, but didn't want to have to like explain it to me. So like she got me these books and I used Barbie to act it out.
Interesting.
And that's how I got into Shakespeare.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I was fucking taping twigs to my Barbie's hands to do Titus Andronicus. You know what I mean? Like, there were things that like I really like. These are core parts of my upbringing. The complexity when it comes.
The only one you couldn't do that with? Othello. Okay. There was no
I
Black
absolutely
Ken yet.
did. There was a Black Ken?
Oh, at that time?
Yeah. How old do you think I am, bitch?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Barbie is my problem.
Oh, Barbie. Yeah.
I was just trying to be clever.
Black Barbie came out in like the 60s or 70s, I think.
Oh,
there was already a Black Barbie. And then there was a Hispanic Barbie, Teresa, who was not in the movie for whatever reason, but she's in the end credits. Just the doll is in the end credits.
Yeah.
And like they did expand their collection pretty quickly because ultimately they want you to buy the fucking thing.
Yes.
And when, you know, people were complaining that it was just their Black and Hispanic and Asian children were playing with a bunch of white people. Right. It was like, all right, let's add some. So there were Black Kens. There was an MC Hammer doll made by Mattel that my cousin had.
I do remember that actually.
He had like a gold jacket with like, it was a whole thing.
And he went around buying everybody Barbie dream houses until he had no money left.
Yeah, and then it was just, you would have him and he'd have a dream house and it'd get foreclosed on. And then we'd move the white Barbies in. But yeah, so funny. There were all kinds of different Barbies. That was the thing, that you could really create a very interesting world,
right? Even
in the early 90s.
So here's the interesting thing: is that we both went into the movie with similar expectations, but perceiving it in different ways. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this. It's gonna be annoying. You were thinking maybe, oh, this could be a really radical, interesting movie.
Maybe not radical, it's still Mattel.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be like Inside Out for millennials. Right? Because it doesn't, because Mattel ultimately is going to veto anything that's going to engage seriously with the complexities of girls' relationships with Barbies. But like the relationship you have with Barbie, it changes once you start to get a bit older, especially when you start to hit almost puberty. Yeah. And you're realizing you're not going to look like Barbie. And that Barbie kind of put a pressure on you to be perfect and beautiful that you don't deserve. And that was undue. And like that her body and everything about her is just like unrealistic. And when that starts to clash with your experiences of growing up, especially if you're growing up and you're realizing, oh no, I'm going to become a woman, Barbie becomes almost an enemy. Right.
Then they never had a mid to Barbie, you know what I mean?
They never had a mid Barbie, but they did have a fat Barbie, which is just a skinny Barbie with a little bit of ass. It's hilarious. They have a short skinny Barbie, they have a tall skinny Barbie, and Barbie with just a little booty.
Love that.
Yeah, no, they'll never have a.
I think I'm gonna get into Barbies now. Just kidding.
I'm waiting for. I will literally find Magic Earring Ken and give it to you if this podcast ever makes us more money. I appreciated the shouts to him too, by the way. And so like your relationship with Barbie becomes complex. It becomes a situation where you're like, oh shit, did Barbie kind of pound conformity into my head secretly? Like, am I like, oh, this is now an expectation that I can't fulfill among all the other expectations that I am supposed to fulfill. And so you hate her You grow to hate her.
Yeah, well,
And then
circumscribes your reality for sure,
Yes.
right? Because it's like, yes, you can be all these. There's no, I'm a Maoist Barbie. Like, no, there's no Sandinista Barbie. That's contradictory, of course.
Sandinista
You know.
Barbie. Yeah, no.
Right.
No. Like, and this, of course, Barbie can't have any real political ideologies or anything.
Abortion Barbie.
But it's also, there's Midge.
Yeah. Who did get aborted.
They did
herself.
abort her. They aborted her and that baby. But like, but then you get older and then you're like, oh, I miss playing with Barbies.
Right.
Barbies are an integral part of my girlhood and my childhood and my femininity. You know, like having Barbies was like a declaration of your femininity. Like, so the relationship is complicated. So I thought we were going to go on that journey where it tugs at your heartstrings and you recognize that, yes, it was complicated, but ultimately you love Barbie and she was important to you in your upbringing. But there wasn't that. It was a muddled screenplay with a lot of different things. It was going in different directions.
Let's get into the meat of the movie. Like, I liked the movie because I was like, oh, this isn't taking itself seriously at all.
Yes, I
like
appreciate that.
all the quote ideology in there is like really softball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like very they engage, but they don't really engage in any deep way. They just very it's like drive-by encounters with feminism, self-actualization, all of that
stuff. Critiques of patriarchy, but only the patriarchy that is like cute and funny.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Sitcom dad patriarchy.
Yeah, exactly. And so I came out rather pleased in the sense that I was like, oh, this movie is nothing to worry about. Because I remember
you thought it was going to radicalize little girls.
In the sense that, like, what I didn't want was something that was going to have no comedic merit, but actually just be like a super pedantic movie,
for sure,
right? And that's what would annoy me more than anything, right?
Yes.
And so we came out, and I was like, hey, actually, that wasn't that bad, and you were like, it was aight.
You didn't say that wasn't that bad. You were like, girl, I loved that movie. I loved Barbie. You dead ass were like, I loved it.
I was not dead ass.
No, yes, you were.
Literally, like, I was like, it was good.
You loved it.
Also, here's the thing: is that I was high, and then as the high wore off, I was like, it was fine. It was good.
I was feeling some type of way because you were like, I feel like really connected to Barbie.
Shut the fuck
and I was
up.
like, oh, what's happening? What's happening right now? We're switching roles.
I want the Barbie popcorn box.
Yes, you really were. You were like different after we came out.
It was a highly sophisticated advertisement for Barbie dolls.
And it was also so fucking funny, and it was beautiful to look at.
And listen, it was extremely beautiful to look at. Production design, the costume design.
I want to go to there.
Insane.
Oh my God. This was obviously whoever was taking care of the look of the film loves Barbie and wanted to stay true to the toys as possible in a way that really pulled at my heartstrings. Like that would pull at my, because I was like, oh, I remember that. Yeah. I remember when they were doing the camper van. When they do the like route, like that camper van, I had that. That's one of those early Barbie things that I had. You know?
Right. You know what I appreciate about it? Because one critique that I started hearing was like, this is not a movie for kids. And I was like, it's not a movie for kids.
It's not, but it's...
You know what? You know who it's actually for? And they kind of tell you in the movie itself, right? Mm-hmm. It's not for kids now. It's for adults now who used to own Barbies. And that's why there were references basically to like fuck boys, you know what I mean? Because what was it about? It was about men being controlling the distance, you know what I mean? Keeping
the long term,
that's a long term
commitment.
Men playing guitar at you, all that's stuff that like women now in their 30s have been enduring.
Sure. And that's like the stuff that like straight girls are like, oh, that's annoying about men.
Yes.
But that's not patriarchy. That's like that's like annoying dude stuff, which is cute. I loved the Kens. I thought they were really funny, but they don't represent patriarchy.
No.
They don't. They tried really hard to make that happen.
I think, well, again, like, listen, we talked about this a little bit after, right? There's only so much they could actually try
100%.
To do that. Because the first thing that you see on the screen is Mattel.
Yes.
Right. So it's an advertisement for Barbie. They're never going to go deep in the weeds about feminism or about this or that.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I watched some left-wing critiques of it too.
Oh, did you? Oh, what did you watch?
I watched like Crystal Ball's critique of it. Her
did you watch
like
Verily
take
Bitchy's video of it? It's really good.
But I was like, even this is like kind of a useless critique because listen, I say this as a comedian, as a person who definitively does no funny, and this was like, It had some fucking good jokes in
It was
there, dude.
hilarious.
Like it
had
takes a
some-
lot
I
for me
was
to laugh out
cackling.
loud.
We were both
cackling. Like
bitch.
Will Ferrell was hilarious.
Will Ferrell
in
was
it.
amazing.
Kate McKinnon was hilarious.
Kate McKinnon was amazing. Ryan fucking Gosling.
Ryan Gosling was hilarious.
He was
in it.
excellent in it.
You know-
and I was one of those people who was like, "Why is he playing Ken?
Right.
Why is he playing Ken? He's too old to play Ken."
I mean,
And then he was like, "This is why I'm playing Ken, bitch.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck
There
up."
was like pretty
Ate
good
that
comedic
shit.
writing. It wasn't a well-written movie in
No.
that like they didn't know how to build the world
No, not
properly.
at all.
And there was a lot of Deus Ex Machina dumb shit that was
Yes.
happening. Where it's like
Yes.
should not be taken seriously as a
Yes.
film.
Yes.
Right? But I enjoyed it on the level that I enjoy movies like Step Brothers,
Yeah, Austin
Talladega
Powers.
Nights, Austin Powers,
Yes.
right? Movies that, dude, they're hilarious
Yes.
to me. You know what I mean? Like
And-
Step Brothers is legit. That's Grey
Oh,
Gardens for men. Okay?
Not Grey Gardens.
That is Grey Gardens for men right there. And that Step Brothers is elevated
Step
in many
Brothers
ways.
is great, but
There's some
I don't know about
intense critique
elevated.
baked into that movie, which is just unbelievably good. But that
We'll do an
aside, we'll do an
episode
episode
on
on
that.
that. So Barbie wasn't as good as that, but
Yes.
I was able to enjoy it on the level of
Yes.
just a comedy.
Yes.
You know
But
what I mean?
I've talked to several people
Yeah.
who've been like, I sobbed during that movie.
It's demented.
People clap. Remember, people clapped after America Ferrera's speech about like how
Yes.
hard it is to be a woman.
Yeah. You clapped.
I clapped because everybody else was clapping.
Sure.
Everybody else started clapping, and I was like,
Yeah.
because there was some parts that I, of course, identified
Mhm.
with. You know, like you try really hard, but it's never enough. You know what I mean?
America Ferrera is so hot too, by the
America
way. I was
Ferrera
like,
is
oh
a
my
revelation, and
God.
she's beautiful, and she ate that shit. She
God.
was great in that, and the little girl they got to play her daughter looks so much.
I
like
need
her.
an America Ferrera doll, if you know what I'm saying.
Don't be
Okay?
fucking weird.
I
Don't be
can't help
creepy.
it.
Don't
That's
be
my
creepy.
job on this podcast.
I met her at LAX once.
Oh, nice.
We were on
She
the
was
same
like
flight.
security.
Yeah, basically. I was like, because I love that she's in this really random indie
She was like,
movie.
"What are you doing in first class?"
I
Can
was
you-"
not in first class. I was like, what are you doing
I
on the
know.
commercial flight?
Yeah,
And she so like we were so like she was in this movie called It's a Disaster.
Yeah.
And it's like a really small indie movie, but it's brilliant. It was one of my favorite movies. I had it on DVD. And so I saw her. The first thing I said to her was like, I love It's a Disaster. And she was like, huh? She was like, okay. Like, what? That was the most, I've done like really big things.
Uh-huh.
It's a really good one. She's beautiful in person too. She's so gorgeous. She was
She's
great
hot.
in it. Margot Robbie was excellent in it.
Margot Robbie was good. Yeah.
Excellent. She brought she brought
She's a great actor.
pathos. She's a fantastic actor.
She's
We
really
knew
good.
She
yeah.
was gonna eat
It's
that
hard to
shit.
be like she was amazing because she was playing really just stereotypical Barbie, the straight person, the straight man, so to speak, right?
Yeah, but she had
comedically,
so
you know what I
many.
mean?
The part where she like falls apart and
Yeah.
like can't stand up. See, that's Margot Robbie being like, how dare you diminish my fucking.
Listen, don't get me
great
wrong. I thought she was
skills."
great. But you know, she wasn't one of the character actors in it, right? So
Yeah,
everyone
but she
else.
had so many. Like she was a character actor.
She was great.
She had good physical comedy moments.
Listen, I'm not trying to take anything away from her, right?
Sounds
It's just
like you
it's
are
just the
with it.
nature of the part. But I was like confused because we went into the movie being like, okay, this is going to be good because we're going to have some spicy, debatey style content maybe about Barbie, right?
Mhm.
But we came out both feeling more or less middle of the road about
sure,
it.
for
It was
sure.
not any of those things. And then I realized, so I went
this
and
is a
watched.
retconning.
And then I went and watched. What's retconning?
We were not both middle of the road. I was middle of the road, and you were like, "Girl,
Fuck up.
Barbie, we're seeing it again. Do you want to go see it again right now?"
You know what I said is I was like, I would actually watch that again.
Yes, you did. You said as soon as that shit comes out on DVD, I'm getting it.
A DVD. That's how we both know that this conversation didn't happen.
I'm getting that.
But you know what? I did say, oh, that's the kind of movie I would buy to just watch here and there because it's got some good jokes in it. Yeah, I did say that.
it was a very funny movie.
I
It
didn't
was
like
very-
love it, but it was good.
But I do think there are some things to talk about that are more socially and politically
Go off.
conscious. Absolutely, because a lot of this is taken from Verily Bitchy's video called "The Plastic Feminism of Barbie."
Mhm.
I mean, if you're watching this and not watching that, that's weird because she's like famous.
Watch this instead.
Yeah, watch this instead. God damn it, I'll summarize it.
Yeah.
So she does go a lot into how it is an extremely shallow presentation of feminist politic. And how it's so funny that Mattel is the one talking about like building a world for women, that da 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 da, when the vast majority of the people who work in their factories are women, and they're being poisoned by the material that they're making. They're not being paid at all. They're dying.
Oh, well, one thing I did say when we came out, I was like, instead of showing it from America, they should have shown it from the sweatshop workers' perspective, making the Barbie.
Sure should have. They sure, and I mean, like they sort of reference a little bit the fact that like they're like, Barbie makes the world a better place, even though she's made of plastic and she fills landfills, and like, you know what I mean, and puts a bunch of like waste out into the world.
Yeah.
And then there's also the fact that Mattel only very softly engages with these things, with these feminist girl power aesthetic. Like, you know, Verily Bitchy talks about how Mattel put out a what's the face?
Ken?
Oh my God. Come on.
What?
She's a painter.
Frida
Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo, yeah.
They put out a Frida Kahlo doll. Listen, leave me alone. They put out a, I know, right? They put out a Frida Kahlo doll. They put out a yassified Frida Kahlo doll. Like, she doesn't even have a full unibrow.
She had like a purple unibrow.
No, she does not have a unibrow. She has like light hair coming on like some side of
her mustache is bleached.
No mustache. She's the bitch is snatched. She never looked like that. And she was a very like who is Frida Kahlo? Yes, she was a painter, but she was also an anti-capitalist. She was a very, you know what I mean? Yeah. Why would she would never want a doll made out of her?
Of course.
And like, I think her family was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? And they were like, yeah, y'all can suck our dick. We're just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, this is the dark power of consumerism and capitalism.
But
right?
it helped make them look like a feminist company.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they were absolutely desecrating a woman's memory. You know what I mean? Like, and this is sort of the soft feminism that was at the crux of the social commentary of the movie, right? It was like, girls should be able to work.
Right. No, it was. It was like,
why can't girls be moms?
Autonomy for women, right? That was all it was.
Autonomy.
Yeah.
Right? Autonomy, but as long as it's within these parameters.
Right.
How do we defeat patriarchy? By pretending to be dumb and cute.
Yeah.
By seducing
it's not Barbie
men.
and Ken. It can be it's Barbie and it's Ken. That was like summed up the
which is so funny because like I do get where they were going, where like, because the world of Barbie it's Barbie's world and Ken is just there.
He's an accessory.
He's part, like, there's nobody gets Ken dolls. You know what I mean? You get a Ken because you need something for your Barbie.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like shorts. It's like roller skates, right? And so I get that they were trying to make that parallel. Like, Ken is like that in Barbie world, and that's what women are like in the real. No, it's not. Women are subjugated. Their labor is stolen and exploited, and they are oppressed, and they are threatened with violence.
Yeah.
As a you know, that's the world they live in. They do make a reference to an undercurrent of violence that she is facing with the flirtation and her being catcalled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, the requirement to
was really funny. That was really funny when they first landed. And my favorite part was when Ken was like, no, the world should be like Century City, California.
That's so funny. That's so funny. No, my favorite part was when she sees the bikini models on the billboard and she's like, look, the Supreme Court.
That was great.
That was my favorite. Yeah, no, I thought it was a sort of a limp-dicked attempt at some satirizing patriarchy.
It was a dry, bussied attempt.
Very much a dry, bussied attempt.
But you know what? We already knew that's what it was going to be. Mattel is the first thing you see on screen.
Exactly.
It's basically just an advertisement for Barbies. And what I want to talk about a little bit is the discourse surrounding it, which I think is also
manufactured.
Even the people who are critiquing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I watched the Ben Shapiro video, right? That people had been, Ben Shapiro goes off for 43 minutes about Barbie. Even this guy's just making money off of Barbie. There's no real great critique of having this movie because this movie isn't really worthy of that level of critique.
100%.
Right?
100%.
It's really just like a dumb, fun movie.
Yes.
And that's really all that is required of it.
Yes. I do appreciate the trans representation, though. That was very good. That is subtly revolutionary in the sense that, like, we're living in a time.
That was the tall brunette, right?
Yes. What's her name? She was in some other things. I didn't really, but there were some other like, you know, I appreciate that is that we're living in a time where like trans people are being like horribly
Sure, but
attacked right now.
this is all about just funneling all the politics of today
Yeah.
through a consumer, and you know what I mean?
Yes,
is like
100%.
is basically defanging it through consumerism.
Yes, because no one knows she's like nobody really knows that she's trans unless you look it up.
No, I knew. I saw her. I was like, yo, she's tall.
No, you didn't.
Like, she's tall.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You had no idea. You had no idea. You had no idea.
I did. I knew she was trans.
I thought I thought we afterward I was like, oh, there's a trans Barbie. And
yeah.
like, who? And like
she was all tall.
Oh,
I knew that.
Because she was tall.
trans.
Okay, fine.
Well, that's how I knew.
All right. Well,
I'm the fucking Adam's apple. Okay. What? It was there.
That's not okay.
Why not?
Because that is.
There are so many trans people who still have an Adam's apple because they can't maybe afford to get that surgery.
And there's cis women who have an Adam's apple, but like that's also like the clocking of trans people is a sort of dangerous thing to do.
I'm acknowledging that there was a trans person, so
No?
I should have just not noticed that she was trans.
No, you shouldn't mock or point out features that belong to cis men on a trans woman, because that is like a point of A, sensitivity, and B, like can be very dangerous for trans women when people say things like that.
Okay, well, that was how I was able to identify, and I'm sorry for that. Okay, but what
We forgot to cancel something today.
I'm canceled,
and
today.
now we have to cancel you.
Okay,
now we have
that's
to
fine.
cancel you.
I'm fine. I'm okay with that.
And see,
okay?
it's fucked up because I didn't even remember the girl's name.
Oh, now who's canceled? I'm
No.
canceling you
I actually just
for
didn't-
erasing trans actors.
What was she in though?
Barbie?
No, she was in something else.
Barbie? The Barbie movie?
No, she was in something else. Hari Nef. Hari Nef is her name. I think she's Israeli. What was she in? Transparent. She was in Transparent. I never watched that. That wasn't for me.
I saw a couple episodes. Very well-made television.
Well-made
but,
television, where Jeffrey Tambor was on set just terrorizing everybody.
Yeah, that was the great irony of that show.
Right? Which is why you shouldn't involve cis men in things like this. Another example of why you shouldn't involve cis men in things like this, you.
Well, listen, you know, it is what it is, my friend.
Also, Calpurnia Adams was on Transparent. I love her. She's an icon. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. Go see the Barbie movie if you want.
You should see it if you want to.
It's a good, funny movie.
If you like just like empty kind of comedies.
If you disagree with this and you really have like, you were really touched, because I talked to several people who were like, I sobbed.
Why?
Whole
What
way.
made them sob?
The montage of people hugging randomly at the end. I was like, what does this have to do?
You know, there
with
were touching moments
anything?
between the mother and the daughter.
Sort of,
right?
but
Because
that made me cry.
Because that's just touching. Yeah, right, for sure. Obviously,
Yeah.
I didn't cry,
It
but
was like, oh.
I didn't cry. Obviously, but the mother and the daughter stuff, you know, because those are like human things that are
Sure.
happening, and then you're seeing.
But
oh,
it's not even that deep with it. Like,
no, that's the problem with the actual movie as a movie, is that
Yeah.
they didn't really have a focus of what it wanted to be about in terms of like a message, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Like I thought that would have been a perfectly fine vehicle for it, for all of that. If it was like, oh, this is the story of this mother and their daughter.
Yes.
Who, there's a generational divide, and they're able to come together via Barbies.
also, can we talk about this real quick before
Yeah.
we go? That quote of mothers stand still so that their daughters can see how far they've
Oh, yeah.
come. I didn't like that. And I know people are like, why are you being cynical about that? But I didn't like that because I think a lot of the problems with motherhood is the expectation of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And of course, certainly you sacrifice and you give things up for anything in any relationship that you have. And of course, more for children. You sacrifice your time and your body and all
You're
that
right.
stuff. But the inherent expectation of sacrifice is something that I think makes bad mothers.
Yeah.
And it makes mothers that either feel guilty for not being willing to sacrifice their entire lives, or feel that they have to fight against that,
Right.
or who guilt trip their children, particularly their daughters,
For sure.
because they've sacrificed for them.
Definitely.
And I think that this messaging, it's being like touted as this beautiful quote that like really is like whatever. Maybe it's just because of my own mother-daughter issues, but I just did not. I don't see that for what it is. And I think it's time for us to examine that whole belief system.
Fair. Here's my final critique that I want people to come away with is stop getting into the discourse, guys. Disengage from discourse because all you're really doing is participating in consumer culture. So everybody who's deciding to watch a video about why Barbie sucks or why Barbie is great, all you're doing is being a consumer. That's all you're doing. Things can exist on their own in the culture. And it's my conviction that so many issues that exist today writ large that are supposedly the issues of our time really are not.
Yes.
Individuals can be who they want to be in this culture. It's just you're being trained to respond as a consumer to them. That's the problem, right? So whatever the issue actually is, you're made to believe that you are somehow a stakeholder when it comes to trans people being trans, people getting abortions, whatever it is. Don't fall for the dumb fucking hype of people like a Ben Shapiro who want to make a video and then get 2 million views on it, right?
Yes.
I only watch it just to be like, well, what does this guy have to say?
You're one of the 2 million views.
Well, right. Well, I watched some other ones too, right? Just to see, because the Barbie movie itself was not provocative enough for me to have some take where it's like, this sucked or this was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And so all you're doing by engaging all of this other content that surrounds a phenomena, whether it's a movie, whether it's people's individual choices, right? Things like that. It's all consumer culture. That's what happens in this country and in this culture. It's all refracted through consumer culture, and that's how you're forced to engage it. All of your feelings around these things are not real. Your feelings around these things are not real because they're all mediated by purchasing decisions. And every time you click a button to watch a video that is a purchase that you are making, which whether you realize it or not, is passing through the porous limits of your consciousness in order to infect who you are.
Wait, are you immune to this?
Reshape you. Yes. Well, I'm not immune to it. Listen, hold on. I'm not immune to it, but I'm aware of it.
But it doesn't make you immune because you watch Ben Shapiro's videos.
No, don't say videos. Do not say videos. I watch one video. This is the only time I've ever watched a Ben Shapiro video. The only time I've watched any hot take videos has been in preparation for this podcast or if somebody sends it to me.
But what is going through past the porous?
Okay, do you want to know what happens to me? And this is why I know this, right? This is exactly why I know this. It's not because I'm somehow above the situation, right? It's because I am aware of it, right? And this is why I'm so rabidly skeptical of all social media is because I can go on Twitter for an hour and I'll be on one topic, right? Yeah. One topic. It doesn't matter. If I just read one side's perspective on one topic, I will come out rabidly feeling a particular way. And then and then there's a cool down period and I'm like, wow, that right there affected me. The issue that they're talking about is not what affected me. It's being force fed like a fucking foie gras goose, all of this different content. Right. As a captive consumer that is forcing me into it. So do I think that I'm immune to it? No, I'm not immune to it. Right. Because I feel its effects on me, but I am aware of it. And that is all I want to say is that I want people to be aware of how all this different media affects them.
For sure. And I think it's time for us to like be critical of the media, that even the stuff that we love. Like I liked Barbie. I think it's okay to be critical of it. It doesn't put you on either side of an issue. That's another thing. But stop watching Ben Shapiro. That shit. That's why that's what makes you make a little transphobic comment.
I did not. That's not a comment. That's maybe, if anything, I don't know what the.
It was Ben Shapiro.
I don't know the sentence. Shut the fuck up.
It was you watched Ben Shapiro.
I watched half of the video and he didn't even mention the trans character.
Yes, he did. He talks about. He's like, there's a trans character.
Okay, I didn't get that far into the video though.
I just saw a clip of it. He was like,
I was watching it when you came in.
Nobody talks about it, and her voice is deeper than mine. I'm like, girl, my voice is deeper than yours.
Bro, when you came in, I was like 10 minutes in the video, and you like threw my phone across the room. Like, get that fucking sacrilege out of here.
I absolutely did.
So I didn't even hear all of his takes.
Oh God, this needly
but I knew enough.
Limp dick
to know
fucking loser.
But I knew enough to know that he is
a failed screenwriter.
He is profiting off of Barbie. He is a part of the Barbie phenomenon,
That's
whether
right.
he likes it or not.
No, he wants to be a part of the Barbie phenomenon.
He wants to be part of it.
And I also love that you're like, stop listening to people's hot takes about Barbie, except for ours.
Well, we don't have listen, this is what I like about our podcast. Is you know what? We come from seemingly divergent places on a particular thing.
Yeah.
And I think what we're good at doing is exposing that maybe there doesn't need to be any 100%. Kind of divergence.
100%.
You know what
also,
I mean?
I love that you like. I don't retcon it. You loved Barbie.
Barbie was fine.
You were like.
Barbie was fine. They do need to make a life-sized America Ferrera Barbie, if you know what I'm saying.
She's gorgeous in the
She's so hot.
She used to be thicker too.
Well,
you got to watch Real Women Have Curves, which
now.
Greta Gerwig kind of just like stole for Lady Bird. Well, Lady Bird is just like white.
Real women have no curves.
Exactly.
Is that what that is?
Yes, real women have long backs. Okay, let's end this.
This has been the SemiWoke podcast.
Wait.
What?
Should we blame capitalism?
Oh,
do a problematic fact?
We've done a couple of those throughout this.
Oh, do we not have the hat? Is that why you don't want to blame capitalism?
We've got the hat. It's right back there. Connor's got to.
Okay, or we can do a problematic fave. What do you want to do? Actually, let's do a problematic fave.
Let's do a problematic fave.
I'm gonna do a problematic fave. My problematic fave, Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Barbie is my problematic fave.
You loved it.
Yeah,
you were getting very emotional at certain points in the movie when they were showing you
the toys,
all the toys.
Yes, at the end credits.
Yeah,
all the toys that I loved, that like the skipper, the ones that I had, that pulls me back to a time in my life when I was innocent, before I was on medication, before I was depressed, you know what I mean? Before I knew so many things that like ruined, and even though my childhood was very, very fraught and very traumatic, that's where it went during those times of trauma.
Right.
So it was really like, that like touches a part of you, that nostalgia button, that little nostalgia clit hood that it touches. It really like, it affects you, but let's also be conscious of those things, right? I think we've seen a little turn since the Barbie movie of people being like, Barbie is completely perfect and I'm problematic.
Barbie is back.
Barbie is back and it's great. And I've also been seeing a lot of little Black girls just going up to random blonde women in the streets to take pictures with them because they look like Barbie.
It's about time they get their get back from all the time white women touch their hair.
No, that's different, because now we're back to like the issue with Barbie is that she is ultimately, I know there are Black Barbies, but let's be real. When you say Barbie, when they acknowledge it, the stereotypical Barbie, a blonde, thin woman comes to mind. And this paragon of white femininity is what comes to mind. And though that is like, there's a context of, this is what we're fighting for, boys. This is what we protect, right? And I think even young Black girls are brainwashed into believing that like they should care for and protect and idolize thin, white, feminine young women. And
when they should be idolizing thin Asian women. But okay, go on. Continue.
Fuck you. G-Friend is great. Only if they can dance and sing.
I was speaking for myself.
Okay, I was speaking for myself.
Yeah, I know.
Only if they can dance and sing in a line. No, but like no, and you can throw as many like sort of fat butt Barbies in there in the mix, but there's nothing that you're not really putting an effort in to diversify the iconography of Barbie. And I think that could be problematic. Now we have a new generation of young Black girls growing up believing in this being the height of womanhood, of femininity, of it's just a cis white thin blonde woman. Let's keep our eyes open for that.
Yeah, I mean, look, capitalism is one of its great tools is being able to instrumentalize nostalgia to like reinforce consumerism.
Yes,
right? To
reinforce consumerism, reinforce problematic racial politics. Like these are the things and that's why Ben Shapiro is really mad, because Barbie's supposed to be an example.
I don't think he's really mad.
He's not really mad, but that's really why the conservatives get
he's just
annoyed.
Making content.
He's just making
that's
content.
all he is. He just happens to not be funny or talented in any other way,
and he doesn't actually have any real taste.
So all he is he's like, I'm an argumentative, nerdy guy who went to Harvard.
But there is a somewhat of a feeling from the white right that Barbie is theirs, right? Barbie is theirs. Barbie is the ideal that they hold up,
right,
as a kind of a tool to beat anyone who
these people are
falls
all just
outside of that
idiots who are
paradigm.
also victims of
Yes.
all of this shit. They're
Yes.
just completely conditioned
Yes.
by the market.
But I love Barbie,
realistically.
and she's a problematic fave for that. That's the problem.
All hail Barbie.
We all no. That's the opposite of what I said. Okay, this has been the SemiWoke podcast.
Thank you guys so much for tuning
Thank
in.
you for
Remember
tuning
to
in.
like, share, subscribe, share our content with people. I love seeing that our Instagram grows.
Yes.
And our channels are all growing. Our numbers keep
Yes,
climbing.
the numbers went up for the last episode. We really love you so much. Thank you for
guys
listening.
so much. We love doing this podcast. We love you guys. Thank you. Stay
Stay SemiWoke.